Thermal imaging tonight, so you guys should be able to see me in this guy, red, orange, and yellow. So that means I'm the warmest thing inside the picture. So honestly, that's really what we're looking for, the cold spots. We're looking for the blue and black to either start moving on its own or to take shape on its own. There's a blue dot that's bouncing around your screen that's going to help you find the coldest spot in the frame in that moment. So you're going to get the full video of this back, so that blue dot is there to kind of help you when you're watching your video of where the coldest spot is going to be. I normally look for about a 15-degree difference when I'm watching this video and spot checking it for you. Which, by the way, with the amount of media that you're going to get back, there's 8 of you here. You're going to record about 7 to 9 hours worth of data. I'm only going to go through it for 2 hours. Reason for it is because obviously 7 to 9 hours worth of data, I'm taking all the work away from you, which is half the fun, is going through all of this stuff. So I'm going to go through it for 2 hours and see what I see. Anything that I will label as evidence from our paranormal investigation, I will always put a link for you to verify the information and learn more about that specific person or location of where we are. Is that fair to everybody? Told you, I'm not here to make stuff up. So, all right, so with this particular camera, I'm trying to think, who do I want to go with this guy? Sean, I think I'm going to go with you on this, buddy. So you're going to hold this horizontal all night. So you're going to kind of hold it right-handed. And then, of course, the red square, I know, all night long. I will give you a few starts and stops so you can rest your hands. You don't have to look like a blogger or vlogger all night long. But that red square means that it's recording. I'm actually going to stop it. There you go. Perfect. All right. So welcome to the Pinckney Mansion site, everybody. This place used to be the Eliza and Charles Pinckney Mansion. It sat in the front of the space, facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant over there, and then the servant and slave quarters were right back here where we're standing right now. So I kind of like to give you the layout of the land before we actually get started with the history. So who the heck were these people? Well, I guess first off, spirit boxes. This is the first location where I'm going to withhold information. I'm not going to tell you everything I know about the Pinckneys on purpose, so that way you guys all have a genuine experience. So if we heard anything along the way over here, by the way, or had any words pop up?
It said clown and it says order.
So it's calling me a very orderly clown. Very got it. Duly noted. So, and did anybody hear anything on your spirit boxes? Did you get anything out of yours? Are you getting the gist of how to listen to it? Did you turn the volume up? All right, cool. Susan, anything on yours before I get started?
No, just a lot of static and...
Remember, it's the radio station as the voice is coming through.
I know.
All right, so let's get into it. So Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Charleses, in case you lost track. Not to mention we have a 4th with us tonight. So this is going to be very interesting how this is actually going to turn out. So now you guys see why I look for those secondary clues. I need to know who the heck we're talking to. I mean, we never know which Charles it's actually going to be. But the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a pretty big deal for us, but I hate politics, so we're going to move on to Eliza. Eliza has a much different lifestyle than a politician. Eliza married Charles at a young age, according to today's standards. If you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, which I'm not going to give you that number, it's not going to be the numbers like 12 and 14, like the colonial times that she came from. Again, according to today's standards. The reason I bring this up is because her husband, Charles, was over double her age. Kind of a creepy age gap back in colonial times, definitely a creepy age gap now. So just kind of keep that in mind if you guys are going to ask her about their ages at marriage. But anyway, she married him because her father was over in England, and he thought he was dying. He's trying to bring all of his children home one last time so he could see them before he dies. She didn't think he was dying, so she got married. In 1744. You don't get married in 1744 for a green card or citizenship, or not even a country yet. She married Charles out of love, and even after Charles died, because remember, he is over double her age, he definitely went first, she did remain a widow. So again, there was no like foul play affair kind of stuff going on with Eliza. A lot of people like to poke the bear with that. But anyway, her father did get better, and he starts sending her gifts from England to this space. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. Now, you guys have been in town for at least an hour that I know of, definitely all day, apparently according to you guys being whooped all day. But with that being said, she didn't know what to do with this indigo when she got it. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's not always hot here. Most of the slaves that were here came from Gullah, so basically they were agriculturists. She was learning from them. Once she figured it out, they worked with her and moved it to another plantation just south of here near the Stono River, and then she calls her father up and says that the rice plantations are going downhill. We can make a killing with this indigo. Now, indigo basically is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. I don't think anybody here has it on. Oh, Susan has it on. So you're wearing black. So now that's basically how we use it today, just so you know what indigo actually is. Now, that's basically Eliza's business. Let's get into the weird stuff, because that's why everybody's here. So let's kind of go through the spirit boxes. So with the digital word list that we have going on, I want you to go after Eliza. There was 2 different wives named Eliza, by the way. Both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. See which Eliza we're dealing with? The weird thing about that whole scenario is that the first wife, Eliza, she died in January of 1744. He married the one I just spoke about in May of 1744, 5 months later. One dies, 5 months later, he's married again to a woman with the same name as the first. So they both have a maiden name that starts with L. Figure out which one. The other thing you're going to go after is the ages with their marriages. So kind of that way you kind of have a small series of questions to be able to work with. Let's see. Where's our next one? So with yours, you're going to go after the kids. I want you to find out how many children there are and what their names are. That's it. Don't ask any other questions. The reason for that is because there's a tragedy among those children. If we poke the bear too hard, all activity will stop, including the little bit of EMF spikes that we're getting already. They're small, but again, they're still noteworthy. So again, names and how many children Eliza had. So that will be your focus. Let's see. Where's our other spirit boxes at? What else do I have out here? With yours, Arlene, the mansion's not here anymore. Ask what happened to it and when did that happen. So again.
So I hit the unmute button?
You will, yep. And Susan, with yours, you're going to go after Eliza herself with her death. Anything you want to ask, her age, what did she die from, where she's buried, and what president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So again, anything you want to about her death. I'm just giving you a lot of the specific questions that we commonly get answers to. So again, specific details. London, you know how this works. You can pretty much ask any one of those questions that you want to. I want to see if anything's going to pop up out of her. Basically, she has a digital Ouija board if you really want to think of it that way. There are... Yeah, and emojis are on there too. It has a different emoji settings so they can tell us how they feel. Yeah, I think it's ridiculous, but we're going to use the letter board only. Now, there are vehicles in here. We are going to spread out. We're not going to go in between vehicles. People don't like their cars filmed, like I said earlier. So just kind of stay away from the vehicles. We actually have plenty of space to work in, but we are going to stay within the confines of these walls. And you guys are going to see me bouncing around all of you to be writing down notes of things that are actually going on with your devices in real time. So that way I can kind of piece the puzzle together for you before we leave the space. I will give you all of these answers. So again, I need to work with Charles to show him how to use that motion sensor, but everybody else, let's spread out, have some fun. London, start bouncing.
At one point, it popped all the way up to the red. Look. You see it?
Yeah, what happened?
I said I gotta keep
Somebody on there?
I gotta keep one of us someone following, I guess.
Alright, well, I don't even know. You gotta ask some questions, babe.
It didn't say that. He didn't tell us to ask questions.
Still gotta ask some questions. How many slaves did you guys have? I feel like that's a touchy subject. We didn't talk about the slaves. Right? Look. Oh, they're mad about that.
Oh, it is spiking crazy. And you got a blue dot on there.
Were you guys alive to free any of your slaves? I hope that would make them mad. Said if you make them mad, they might not talk to you. How many kids did you have, Eliza? Number one. You have more boys or more girls?
There was a big spike down there. Yeah. Like, keep walking straight down by the 34. There was a big spot. Her thing went to red.
How many kids did they have, AJ? Like I said, huh?
This is bad. I thought we was walking through a cemetery.
That's one of the stones. Any of your
It's not an easy job. So you're finding out.
Oh, look at all this. Look.
Is it starting to spike over here again?
I'm not getting nobody's name.
Look.
Are we near the favorite room in the
All
house?
The ground.
the ground. Like, look how it's hot over there. Like, all that is all red. All that is all red. And then right here is like all blue.
All right. Anybody show you how to get to that word list yet? Yep. Got it here. And then bring everything up. Look at that. Look at the word neck. Where did Big John get shot?
I said that over here.
Even still, it's a bleed over. So once we leave this space, these two things will be gone. We're actually going to go 3 blocks away, and almost like we won't hear from the Pink Bees or Big John for the rest of the evening. But again, we do get bleed over back and forth, so hopefully something else about Big John will pop up. Relax was the first word it gave you? That's funny. Yeah, I got nothing else. It all looks like bullshit to me so far, except for the word neck. So unless the word shot is here around the relative same time, yeah, there's timestamps on all of them. So what's funny is I actually switched this over to numbers to see if I can actually get anything instead of just the letters, because you can change what you're going to get. And the first number is a 4, which is definitely relevant here. So I'm going to see if the other number relative to that is going to be popping up too. But yeah, I wanted to make sure you knew how to get to that word list. So, couldn't wait to get my hands on this damn device. Good
know,
enough.
like, what questions to ask. 'Cause I
That's the
asked,
one your
like,
daughter had?
Yeah, she ran to the restroom.
Yeah.
I asked, what was Charles' wife's name?
You can ask Eliza directly what her maiden name was. I don't know if you tried that one yet, or if you want to ask her how old she was when she got married, how old she was. I mean, the reason I kind of assign those questions is so that you guys kind of have just a focal point. You can ask anything you want to, as long as we can actually prove it. But the common things I normally get out of it are the questions that I gave you guys.
It's a lot of cool area right all over here.
On the ground,
Yeah.
there's a lot of mud in there. So gravel and mud are going to be 2 different temperatures. This parking lot isn't solid concrete, so there's like the ground I don't normally pay.
Because over that way, it's all red, or was, yeah.
Yeah.
Everywhere else is pretty much all red except for over here. In this corner.
Weird. So what I'm normally looking for in this guy is, like, I'll watch the walls when I'm watching the video. I know you're doing your best to keep the sky out, so I expect the wall to be up that 3/4 of the way, but I'm watching for things to pass by, like those heat spots. You kind of see where I'm going with that? Like, the ground can be a little touchy because
that's somebody over there. I'm about to say, somebody right there. That's AJ and I'm like, yeah.
but I'm looking for those blue and black spots to move as well. You see, I can't read the temperature that's on that, but that
83 something.
83 versus the middle, that's 90. So again, I look for about 15-degree drops to kind of see where things are going to go. Yeah, none of those other mean anything. Yeah, this thing's like a digital Ouija board. Like, I couldn't wait to get my hands on this damn thing.
77 way over there.
That's going to be the glass, the windshield of the car. I can already see that. Again, it's not easy to watch that thing either.
It's not easy to hold this motherfucker up.
Are you getting any colors out of yours?
I am. Actually, I got the
It
most.
spiked
like, right
up the
over here.
red, like
Yeah.
when
You had a red?
Yeah.
Oh, they went all the way up to 25?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's it to max.
that was like right over in here when we
I feel like
first
when we
crossed
were
over the
walking
parking
down
lot.
Here, yeah. But I like 34.
And we're like, there's no electricity in here at all.
Yeah.
So there's no reason why your device should be going
And
off.
it's still, even while I'm over here, it's been going, kind of popping up, but not up all the way up to red like it did.
As soon as we crossed over that parking lot, it came on all the way up to red.
Even
about
like, because I'm
32.
going to debunk that thing a lot for you tonight. Like
Okay.
even when we leave the space, we're going to be walking up East Bay Street. All the parking meters, because the electrical lines are underneath the sidewalks, will make it go off. So again, I'll say ignore your colors. Take a lot of touristy type photos.
Right,
You know,
right.
in the meantime. So that's why you kind of have two devices to keep you busy.
Right.
So yeah, that 3 block from here, like that's all spirit box work. Like we won't even be recording video at that point.
Okay.
Because it's pointless.
Right,
Just
right.
to be recording our butts as we're walking by. Like there's no point.
Right. No, it's spiked up big.
Yeah, well, 25 is its max. So
Okay.
I'll tell you that Charles's device, like I've seen that thing go over 200. Part of the reason why they use that thing on TV so much is because it only goes to 25. So a big reading on it looks huge. So
Right.
again, it's pretty
Right.
sensitive.
Right.
So again, I just kind of use that to debunk.
Have you guys
things.
had anything crazy happen when you've been on here?
Yeah, a lot. So, but I can't make it happen.
I
That's
know.
the only problem.
Yeah.
So, but have I had disembodied voices in here tell me to just leave them alone? Yeah. Like, dead serious. Like, full sentences come out at 3 different spirit boxes. We've had apparitions show up on the thermal in here. Like, yeah, like all kinds of crazy shit. But again, I'm out here 7
right,
nights a week.
right.
It's a matter of, like, if we don't record, we're not going to get it.
Right.
So, that's the whole point. All right, let me keep bouncing.
Hmm?
I'm like asking questions. I said, did you die in this house? You guys find anything? Names.
Huh?
What names did you get?
You got David, Mark, Cage.
Eight. Where'd the names come from? Oh, in there.
That's probably the kids.
My like little Richter scale went really high over here. It's hard to like. I feel like I need to hold that by you because the spirits can be go by you. You know?
Right?
He said nothing really means anything. He said this one because it said Nick. He's still like
I run over from
drawing
John.
down. That's it.
I don't know, when we first got at the thing, my watch was recording my heartbeat at 130.
Heart rate spiked up.
But we was just standing there.
That's
I
like
know.
just telling me to relax.
Right, because you were like, I know you're over there, like,
Jump it around.
Over this way.
You got a blue spot on your underwear.
Blue spot on my underwear. They're trying to get in my butt, babe. Still on there?
Yeah, yeah.
I was getting was over there. Let me see this. Are you just holding it? Let me hold it towards you. What is that? No, but I see like random things like the car will show up as like a blue spot, huh?
It's the windshield.
Oh. How do y'all feel about him smoking in your house? I don't like.
No, go ahead, stop.
My camera shut off and everything.
All right. Any other colors on yours?
No, my most activity was down there. Definitely.
It went up to red while you right here,
All
right before
guys,
you
let's
dropped
pull it on over
everything.
here.
Oh, it did that to me. It wasn't me. Right? Because in a break, it was go like side.
No. No.
Oh, it's going up. This one's going up now. I think I got collapsed.
Collapsed?
I think.
So here's what I'm excited about. We had the word next show up. I had to mute yours. Those of you with videos, if you want to stop your videos, you can. Yours is going to be the little button on the way to the right. You got it.
Me too?
Yep, go ahead and stop yours. Give your hands a
He's
break.
like, thank God.
You can slide it in your pocket if you want to, man. Like, you're good. And again, if it messes up, I can... Alright. Let's wait for everybody to kind of hover around. You got your camera running, shine. That's good.
Yes, sir. As soon as we hit the bricks.
Alright. Alright. What have we heard, everybody? What do we got? Anything? Just static? Okay. What have you got on yours?
I thought I heard a Paul and a Mary Lou. No, it just sound like Michael.
Alright. Any names show up on yours?
No names. It says Brooke. Travel.
As we were leaving the Pinckney Mansion
Just
site?
now. Like,
Just now as we
came
turned
into
in.
the alley.
Okay. And anything coming up out of your garages? Nothing at all yet? Alright, so well, I know there's a Paul in there. I think there's a Mary. You said Michael too, right?
I think so. It was kind of, it almost sound like.
Alright, so here's what goes on down here. I need to tell you where you're at first of all. So AJ, you might want to turn your camera off. 1809 is what? Mary? Okay. So where you're standing right now is when we cross that last crosswalk coming down East Bay Street, that's where the original Charlestown wall used to sit. So Charleston used to be called Charlestown. It was a walled city. You're standing on one of the first streets we ever had. Now, the names I asked you for, and again, we have a couple relevant ones, but they're not the names I commonly hear down here, which are Benjamin and John. Every 6 to 7 weeks, I get the same two names over and over again that you guys tell me you hear, Benjamin and John. Now, I will tell you that there is a Paul that lived down here. I want to say he was here in 1855, and then there was a Michael, I can't remember what year that was, and then Mary, she said, was in 1809. Now, Benjamin and John, when I say that I have the full list of every person that's ever lived down here, it's not very lengthy. So when I get the same common names over and over again, that's 2 out of 5 names that lived here in 1801, Benjamin and John. Now, there were 4 different Johns that lived here, so you're thinking, yeah, it's a common name, Nick, big deal. John likes to give us his last name, Johnson. So we'll get Ben, John, and Johnson all in the same evening. Now, again, not like where it's a coincidence where I get it every 6 to 7 weeks. Here's what we're dealing with here. The bricks you're standing on, which you two were already looking at, I've seen you kind of kicking them around. They've been here since 1739 that we know of. Again, it's a speculation at this point, but they've been here for a few hundred years. The point is that anything that has been as far as stone in the same place is called the stone tape theory and can replay the memories of the consciousness of the memories that went on here during the time frame of things actually occurring. I have nothing significant about Benjamin and John other than their names that show up every 6 to 7 weeks. We are within that 6 to 7 week loop of where I commonly hear these names. So, that was weird that you got anything. Was that from your movement, you think?
Yeah.
So, okay. Now go ahead and turn off the white button in the back because we are going to use the red screen, but not the motion sensor. Okay. Now, the bricks you're standing on, this is granite. So they call these Belgian blocks. They are not supposed to have any electrical charge to them whatsoever, even when you break them apart. If you break quartz apart, it gives off an electrical charge. So I literally want you, Charles, to put your device on a brick that's dry, hopefully not in the puddle. So just literally set it on the ground and let me know if you get any numbers whatsoever. So at times, we'll see that thing spike up to about 9 to 15 pracouls in an area where there should not be any electricity whatsoever. I would expect up to a 1.1 because that's natural from the earth. So do you have any numbers at all? 3.8. 3.8. It's small. Again, I've seen it go all the way up to 15. I think 7 is the highest one. The 3.8, like the 3 has kind of been your matching number all night long, hasn't it? Alright, we're going to let it sit there for just a minute. Just kind of keep an eye on it for us. Now, before people lived here, the Freemasons had a Masonic lodge here, hence the name Lodge Alley. So that's why they call it that. We do get terms wrapped around the Freemasons, so we'll get Mason, Freemason, and the term Illuminati loves to show up on the 2 red spirit boxes with the earbuds that you guys are using. Now, the weird thing about that is you're listening to radio stations, and who the hell is talking about the Illuminati on the radio? So that's the first question. Second, we only hear it while we're in this space. Last year, we had it show up 6 times. So far this year, it's been 3. So again, you can't make this stuff up, and you have to chuckle every time you hear it, because it's like, really? The Illuminati again? Or we'll get the word symbols that'll show up here all the time, too. So it's a very interesting space indeed. Is that the highest it's been? 3.8. All right, go ahead and pick up your device. So again, we don't spend a lot of time here because we're right next to a hotel, but we are going to go up to another alley. However, I can't take you all the way through it. Why? I've been kicked out. So you guys have all the blinky lights and noisemakers and all of that, and it is considered residential at the end. However, I still tell you what happened there outside the alley because it stirs things up a little bit, and we will get clues from that space like the bleed over we had from Big John's to Pinckney's through the rest of our evening because we're going to be relatively close to that space at the last stop, which is a block away.
You got kicked out. We ain't get kicked out.
Y'all trying to go down there with my equipment? Yeah, that neighbor will come out. I'll tell you how I got booted out of there. So again, that's the fun part of the story. So you're exactly right. That is the fun part. So, but again, you're going to see other tours going down there. We're allowed to go down halfway, but it's not fair for my 10 people to try to investigate a space when there's 20 to 60 other people down there in half of an alley. You can see how skinny this is, and it's no bigger over there. So again, that's part of the reason anyway. We weren't getting a whole lot of space once they called me and said I wasn't allowed to go down there anymore. So I was kind of like, all right, we'll just reroute. But I'll tell you that story once we get there. For those of you with video recorders, you're going to stop your videos as we exit, because we're going to be cutting through a neighborhood. We don't record people's houses just like we don't record their cars. So again, continue taking pictures. If you want to be the last one out and get a long shot of the alley, we do capture anomalies with that guy in here too, whatever didn't show up on AJ's camera. So again, spirit boxes, definitely continue listening and see what we can capture out of it. The 3.8 is not super exciting, but London's getting letters that are almost spelling John. So again, it's damn close. She had a J-O and we thought we were going to get it, but we came up with a V afterwards. So
I almost had Hulk.
Hulk too?
Yeah.
So the Hulk is here, everybody. So
Oh, we said once we get out the alleyway. I was just like, you hold the camera down.
it's because I'm starving.
No. No. Huh? No. Sweat dripped on me.
Boxes, by the way, before I get started with this location. Shouted?
Hey, man, look at this thing.
Century.
I seen it.
Wayne. It's huge.
What'd you get?
Bob and Wayne.
Bob and Wayne. And anything come up out of yours? Nothing? Susan? We gotta get you the gist of that guy.
I know.
It's okay. Yours is the one that's recording, so you're gonna see how I spot those things tomorrow morning when I get you the data back. So, Philadelphia Alley behind me. This used to be called Dueler's Alley. Now, this is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So, with that said, we all tell the same story of a duel because we can all prove that it happened. However, you're ghost hunting. I'm going to give you a little bit more detail than the other campfire-style ghost stories. So, here's what went on down here. There's a doctor that moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. He moves down here because his fiancée, Amanda, I know history's boring, dude, but we got to get through for ghost hunting. So I call out every yawn, just so you guys know. I know you guys are tired, so I will try not to do it too badly. But anyway, his fiancée, Amanda, just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. So she has an attorney that's helping her out with all of this cash flow. The attorney thinks Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda to get rid of the doctor. So to prove that he's not after Amanda's money, he comes to Charleston, and the coachman that brought him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. So it wasn't a very good start. He was going to set him up at an inn, basically, where there was a gunman inside. But somebody was walking by and seeing what was about to happen. His name was Ralph Isaacs. I'm going to stop on Ralph for a second because Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from. R.I. shows up here all the time, but again, two different characters. We need to know which one it belongs to. We need a secondary clue. However, Ralph tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. He's got a gunman inside. But you can stay with friends of mine at 59 Church Street. So he takes him up on the offer, and he's living with these friends at 59 Church Street at this point. Him and Ralph become friends. But they can't sit next to each other at the plays that they actually go visit. So if they're going to see a play together, the doctor makes more money. So he actually gets better seats. Just kind of how the hierarchy worked in Charleston. So they're talking about Richard III, a Shakespearean play one night on their way back from it, and they're arguing over the new actress. So the doctor thought she was fantastic. Ralph, not so much. The argument gets even more heated when Ralph starts insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island, and they go their separate ways. So Ralph, being from here, he's got friends at the newspaper, and he goes to his friends and puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a disgrace to society kind of mentality. The doctor sees the ad and rebuttals with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this. So they come down, they take their 10 paces, they turn. The doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He did not want to kill his friend. just wanted to make a point that he had the courage and bravery to show up to the fight. But Ralph, he has his one shot, and he puts it in the kneecap on the doctor, so he doesn't die either. He falls to the ground, his friends pick him up, they carry him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. You gotta remember, this guy's a doctor. He probably tried to bleed it out himself. Now, because I'll kind of give you the campfire ghost part of this. The doctor was a very jovial guy. He made a lot of money, and Amanda was moving down soon because of his money. He was known as the Whistling Doctor. So the name of the story is, everybody calls it the Whistling Doctor. They say as you walk through here, you can actually hear the whistles from the doctor. Here's the weird thing. If you're going to do this on your own, which it sounds like you might, you can walk down here and turn on your voice recorders from your phone. Keep in mind, every local knows this story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland, the street we're on, or Queen Street on the other side, you already see where I'm going, they throw a whistle down the alley. However, I used to take my teams all the way through here, and it was all about the voice recorder to see if we would actually capture any whistles. Out here, you guys will get songs specifically with whistling in them. So like the Maroon 5 song, Moves Like Jagger, the old Guns N' Roses song, Patience, those songs have whistling in them that we won't hear anything else like it until we're at this space. So again, we're not through the alley, but we're close enough where it's going to stir up some things. So let's hear how I got booted out of here, because Charlie's like, yeah, I'm ready for this part of the story. This alley didn't always go all the way through, so it was kind of blocked off on this end. So that means the other side has bricks that are older than the side we're looking at. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. So there is a full handprint and fingerprint swipes at the end of the alley. I would always go down there to kind of show them off, to show the history of how far we've come. We just stopped in front of the customs house. Same type of principle. I'm sure you guys gathered I'm all about the history. So, however, everybody wants to try to get a reading out of that brick with the handprint in it. I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That kid is not staring at that damn brick in the afterlife. However, my group of November 26th of 2020 all huddled around that brick, hoping to get a reading or something on a spirit box, and it's outside a gentleman's dining room window of his beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. He come out screaming, London, thought it was fantastic because Dad's getting yelled at. You know, that's kind of how that went down, and we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I did not have a tour. So it was the first year I had Thanksgiving off in decades because I was in retail management before I started doing this. The next day after that, I got a phone call from the tourism office asking me to reroute my tour or go down halfway like everybody else. Again, I told you it's not fair for my 10 to work around 20 to 60. I'm going to reroute. But the story I was about to tell them, I didn't fully believe in. And I told them that because, again, I'm not going to sit here and make things up for you. I did not tell them who we were going to be investigating, but somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box before we left. They didn't know we were going to be investigating the female pirate Anne Bonny. So I'm like, all right, maybe something's actually going to come out of this. We get up there, I told the little bit I did know about piracy in Charleston, and somebody else hears the number 300. And I don't know what that means. It was loud and clear. I do the research the next day. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was on November 28th of 1720. We were there on November 28th of 2020, the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. So again, these are part of the uncanny things that I see from time to time that I have no explanation for, but I keep taking you guys back up to that space in hopes we're going to find more evidence of that location from Anne Bonny. Worst case scenario, because it is a hit or miss location, it's either we're going to get a lot or absolutely nothing. It is a matter of you guys will learn a whole hell of a lot about pirates as we're up in that area, because I had to do a crap ton of research around pirate lore to get factual data so that way we can actually investigate a true investigation. So, London is actually not feeling well. Some of you are looking like, where's London? My car is like right here. So, she is sitting in the car on lockdown. She's in a garage. She's safe. So, I don't know what. I think that's our cue. Cops come, we gotta go. No, I'm kidding.
I want to see what the police is doing now. Somebody laying in the alleyway.
When they cops first pulled up, I was like, shit. They coming to yell at us.
This weak ass ghost tour.
This is how the way it goes, man. I guess. Mom would have been scared on this, but she wouldn't have liked this walk.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were safety if everybody else was behind us.
Wait, we're never second.
Yeah, we could have put this motherfucker on a string necklace or something.
Alright, anything crazy going on with your devices?
I just heard the word fight.
That's good.
That was plain as day.
Good. That's something extra common with here. Anything else?
Oh, it's over there.
50.
50?
And then,
Cockroach.
That's a palmetto bug, everybody.
it's a what?
Palmetto bug. If you haven't seen one of those yet, I would be like in shock.
No, I haven't.
Really?
No.
How long have you been here?
Cockroach.
Just today. He's crawling towards you.
I live here. They're friends. And look at you guys all like scattered away from me now. That's hysterical. Yeah. 50 and fight. All right. Anything else coming up on your spirit boxes? Going once, twice. All right.
I got the word Satan just now.
Satan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, the app is meant to try to scare us. We're gonna throw stuff like that away. All right. So let's talk about why we're here. You guys really like worry about this palmetto bug over here? I'll move up. So this is where I get to take a break from the bag. The bag is so by the way. So welcome to the Powder Magazine, everybody. So we're going to be discussing that little building over there, and I'll explain why we're here in just a moment. Everybody recording, look, it's all right, good deal. You guys are on it. First off, those are not crosses on that building. Those are earthquake bolts. Nobody explained what earthquake bolts to you. Those are basically turnbuckles. In the event we have another earthquake, you can turn those turnbuckles, and it will straighten the building back up again by tightening it up. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. So the only reason I bring this up is because these are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston actually put in, because this is the oldest government building in South Carolina. It was finished in 1713. We are here because Anne Bonny was here during its construction, and it is a familiar building. You can imagine we do not have many buildings this old. So again, that's why we're here. It's normally like using a toy to attract a child ghost. It's the same type of principle. So we talked about those Charlestown walls earlier. Where that garage sits over there, that's where the wall actually stood, going up Cumberland Street. And it went up about half a block past the Powder Magazine and started going south behind it, towards the battery. It locks the gunpowder magazine into the corners of the... Anybody else hear a buzzing? Is that coming from the garage?
I heard about
That beep, like a beep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear it.
like some
Okay.
type of
I do hear it. It's like a beep.
weird. I don't know if it was a chirp or it went away. It was like some type of chime,
Okay.
and I thought I was like, I thought I muted it, but it was
Okay.
really weird.
Again, I'm hearing like
But
a
it's
steady
not like
ringing.
Yeah, I hear it. It's like a
It's got to be coming from
Yeah,
the
it's
garage
like a
over there. I heard something coming out of
beep.
there earlier. And you guys can see why I brought us back here, because that's what happens with all the other tours. They like to just cut through here, and we're going to spread out and investigate here in just a few minutes. But anyway, that wall, again, the reason why it puts the gunpowder magazine into the corners is because if it gets hit from a pirate ship or a Revolutionary warship from the water 3 blocks away, it's going to have a hard time making it this far. But let's say it does, and it's going to hit the powder magazines. The walls are 32 inches thick. It's going to have a hard time going all the way through it. So in the event that it does, there is sand underneath those shingles that you see that's supposed to go up with the explosion and fall to put out the fire of the gunpowder. the sand is still there because it's not hot enough here to compress that sand and turn it into glass. So again, that sand was laid there in the early 1700s and it still exists. So we had to do some repairs to the roof, but again, that's why it's there. That whole sand in the roof thing is another great idea, but that doesn't work either. We had another powder magazine closer to the battery. It did get hit, and the sand went up in the air, but the building burned to the ground. This one's just never been attacked, even though it served in 7 different wars in 1 rebellion. So again, we're here because of the familiarity to Anne Bonny. So during its construction, this building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government, 10 years, small building? No, not at all. But our story begins right in the middle of its construction, 1708. To try to follow me, there's a few twists. I will slow down on those twists. Anne Cormac moves here from Ireland in 1708. She's with her father and his mistress. The mistress is her mother. Is everybody with me so far? Yes, I thought so. We got a few chuckles. That's good.
I got high mom earlier.
What's that?
I got high mom earlier.
Hi, Mom? How far ago?
Like probably 5 minutes ago. Like this is like right before you talk about the beeping noise.
Okay. But again, Mom probably wouldn't have been a term they would have used. So, tit for tat on that one. So, I'll write it down, but it is not like to me like, oh my God, we have, her saying hello to her mother. But anyway, so with that said, the 3 of them, Anne, her father, and his mistress, her mother, are running away from his wife. How angry was this wife that they had to leave their country of Ireland to come here? Just saying. But anyway, they land in Georgetown, and Dad buys a plantation. Mom dies pretty quickly. That means he has to send young Anne down here to Charlestown to be able to sell things from the plantation to keep things afloat. So that's why we're here, because of the building. Now, Anne back home in Ireland was kind of a badass. They say she actually killed one of her servants with a knife to the belly when she was only 10 to 12 years old. So again, I give you that because I want you to have the mentality of this young lady as we go through her story. So we're going to fast forward. This building's done in 1713. Pirates are coming through town in 1715. Anne's going to fall in love because she wants her freedom just like a man. Guy number 1. Yes, I'm going to keep tally. There's a handful of them. Guy number 1 is James Bonny. You can already see where this one's going because we've already mentioned her full name of Anne Bonny. But Dad doesn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. They run away to Jamaica. They get married. Anne Cormac is now Anne Bonny, the famous female pirate. But when they get there, James is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy is a privateer, a spy for the British, a coward in her eyes. So a few years later, she falls in love again. Guy number 2. This guy is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. This is the real person that they based your Captain Jack Sparrow character off of, just so everybody kind of knows who this guy is. So literally, this guy is the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. Jack has his own ship. She wants to be part of it. You can't put a girl on a pirate crew. Does anybody know why? Girls are bad luck on a pirate ship. So, yes, you can't put her on the ship, but he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and hide your gender, you can be a pirate on my crew, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because back home in Ireland, Dad used to dress her as a boy apprentice to keep her away from his wife. So she's like, whatever, it's a man's world, I'm a pirate now, let's do this. We're all adults here, let's put 2 and 2 together. Being a female in his quarters, she's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl, and that's going to get Jack voted off. So Jack takes her to Cuba and says, has the baby over here, these are friends of mine, come back later, we'll figure it out. She has the baby, but returns with no baby. We have no idea what happened to the child, by the way. No amount of resources can tell me. But she's also dressed like a female. She doesn't give a damn anymore about hiding her gender. And while she was away giving birth to Jack's baby, he captured another pirate crew, and they're down below deck. Anne's going to go flirting to make Jack even more mad because he's angry about her dressed like a female, just because she wants to, kind of push his buttons a little bit. So the guy she's flirting with down below deck, we're on guy number 3 in case you lost track, turns out to be a female dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. So now we have 2 females dressed like males, dressed on the same ship, trying to be pirates. This young lady's name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. So her and Mary become friends, possibly lovers, we're never going to know for certain, but the British find out where they are. So they send their entire fleet of ships to come take down one pirate ship. Anne and Mary are the only 2 pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with their 1-bullet flintlocks because they probably don't know how to use the cannon yet. They haven't been pirates for very long. And obviously them 2 ladies taking on an entire fleet is not going to work out. They get arrested. And as they're being arrested, she looks at her captain, Calico Jack, and says, you should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog. So the word dog shows up here a lot on the spirit boxes, just so you guys know. But the judge, his name is the same as mine. If Nick or Nicholas shows up, it's usually relevant to him, not me. So he wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly after he's tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunk pirates that wouldn't fight. So they're already dead and gone. So the 2 ladies go in front, they reveal their gender. He doesn't care that they're female. he's still going to hang them because they're still pirates. So the last thing they say is, we plead our bellies, meaning they are claiming to be pregnant. You can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It is illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging, but Dad is still here in Charleston with his Irish money. He was an attorney back home. He bails out Anne, brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary Reed. And she has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Yes, very abrupt ending, because we don't know much about her after her pirate career. Mary Reed died a year later in 1721 in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. Most records will say fever, but I'm sure it was much nastier than just a fever. So, 2 things I left out here for all you spirit box folks. And because you guys pretty much know what you're doing by now. So with this, I left out the name of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father and his mistress. And I also left out the name of Calico Jack's ship that Anne was part of. So you can ask those 2 questions. Everything else is fair game. I just left those 2 things out so you guys would actually have something to get started with. As far as those of you with cameras, if you want to get footage of the front of the powder magazine, you can do that. Just stay out of the way of the other tours. Leave the lot and make a left in front of those bushes, and you'll be right in front of the powder magazine if you want to try to capture some footage up there. I am going to head over to that wall, but I'm going to kind of give you one more minute of, a little bit of what goes on here. There was a reason why I gave you that heated warning at the beginning of the tour. Back in September of last year, I brought my group back here just like this, and the kid next to me started to go white as a ghost, like literally about to drop. And it is a nice, cool, breezy night. There's no heat, no humidity. I have to pick him up by his armpit in order to be able to stop him from getting his head hit on the ground. His boyfriend picks him up from the other side of him. We take him over to that wall, get him a bottle of water. He's feeling better. I then tell the story. It's important to know that they don't know the Anne Bonny tale that I just told you. Afterwards, I spread everybody out with their devices, and them 2 guys pull me aside and say, Nick, we got to tell you, we are 2 transgender males, meaning I had 2 females dressed as males, just like Anne and Mary in the story, on the tour. So it made complete sense as to why one of them passed out on the tour the minute we entered the space. So again, these are the reasons why I give those heated warnings. We never know what's going to occur. Never. So let's have some fun at our last stop. Let's get those spirit boxes loud and proud. Again, we're going to stay out of the way of the other tours with the cameras, and then we'll know within the first 5 minutes if this is going to be an active space for us tonight or not, based on what you guys are telling me. Charles, as far as yours goes, get that REM pod turned on, because I do not expect colors out of yours and any numbers out of yours. However, if you want to ask Anne what her hair color is, she may show you on the REM pod. So again, it's not a reading we always see, but we will get it from her from time to time. Everybody else, let's spread out. Let's have some fun. I'm going to grab my bag and head over towards the wall. London gave me my toy back, so I'm going to try out my new device. Do you see this crazy thing? It's got like a little Ouija board on there. So the cursor, any type of EMF spike, like the device, Becky, right?
Yeah.
The device that she has, any kind of color will make this thing go off. So it's a matter of like, they can get close to it. It actually has a setup to where you can actually get a tap. So anytime something taps it, but you can turn the sensitivity off, and then any temperature changes. So it's almost like using a Ouija board for allowing them to spell shit for us.
Right.
Like I said, I couldn't wait to get my damn hands on this thing, man. It's like, are you serious? A digital Ouija board?
Right.
Like, in my line of work, like, that's...
I played with a Ouija board a couple of times.
We have spirit boards, and we use them. But like this for the tours, like, because you notice everything's electronic. I'm not bringing a Ouija board out here.
Right.
I don't do dowsing rods and all that other stuff either. But again, it didn't give us anything tonight. She had the start of the name John in Large Alley, which I was excited about. But
yeah.
Who knows?
And were you on a pirate ship dressed as a man?
Damn, shit is fighting me.
Cutie pie. Let's go in front of this powder room or whatever.
Powder room.
Isn't this the building? You said go out and go to the right left. You got a food?
No.
And show us something.
Show me your titties.
Weren't those the, what are those things called? The pillory. Where they trap you and leave you there for days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got a peek.
Hell yeah. How you know?
I can tell by your stance. I know you. I don't know you.
People right here. There's people down there.
Is this the park?
Yeah. He said this is where we end, so.
Yeah.
These bugs is tearing me up.
I normally don't expect numbers. Did you get any colors while we've been in here? Yeah. Yeah. Nobody else is giving me anything to eat. So I'm going to take one more quick round robin and pull us over to this wall.
Funny enough, like a couple weeks ago, something like the Powder Magician. I was like, no. Alright, so for all my photo happy people on the tour, this is a terrific spot to take a photo with the same little car when we get up closer. So if you guys want to take a photo, take them now. We'll get a photo.
Drink in my hand.
Yeah, put a drink in my hand.
It's a pirate phrase if I ever heard one.
There you go.
guys. Don't be trying to take mine.
What?
And we had four guys. Well, 3 guys and a girl. Tired, baby.
Who? No, these fucking bugs are biting my legs.